Even though we only have one stream of the game here on the channel, I can assure you that we're kind of addicted to it. Been playing it pretty much every day because I think the game is awesome, and apparently Ackman does as well. I'm super curious to know exactly what aspects he's gonna bring up, as somebody who's well versed in the gaming industry, much more than I am. But of course, before watching the reaction, go and support the OG video. Link to that is at the very top of the description, as always.
Gentlemen, as the CEO of Marvel Studios, it's my job to make sure this company stays afloat. Now, we're past the end game, and after Spider-Man No Way Home, we've completely tapped the nostalgia well dry. Interest in the Marvel IP is waning. How do we stay on top and make sure those rat bastards at DC stay irrelevant for another 10 years?
Oh god. As a DC fan, it makes me kind of sad. I think the latest Batman movie was actually really good, but there's been a lot of misses.
Dude, stick with me on this one killer idea. What if we just rebooted Teen Titans? You know, we don't actually own that. Still a great idea, though. I've got it. Big Wheel, the television series. That sounds really lazy. What else? Come on, guys, keep brainstorming. What's the next big idea? Sir!
What if we made a hero shooter with our superheroes? Is it gonna be something along those lines? Because yeah, I feel like this was inevitable.
Sir, I've got terrible news.
Yes?
A healthcare CEO was just killed.
That's tragic.
And some people are even calling this shooter a hero.
What the fuck? Oh, god damn it, Ackman. Jesus. This is a 10 out of 10 skit.
Say that again.
I said some people are calling this shooter a hero.
Yeah.
Marvel Rivals is way better than it should be. Oh my god!
No!
I don't know why. Why is it so good? Like, every single day, people are complaining about different characters being so OP. And it's kind of balanced in that weird way where everything's super OP, so nothing's OP. And yet, somehow, the games still work, and it still remains fun. I guess they just found the secret sauce.
Suicide jumped me. Oh my god. By all accounts, this should have been the most modern of modern games. We have seen the worst of the worst from the hero shooter genre in recent years.
Unfortunately.
Titans and Goliaths have fallen. Recent superhero games have had a pattern of being quickly snapped out of existence.
Yeah.
Now what you're telling me, Ackman, in this video is that a brand new superhero game just came out and it didn't flop? Yes.
You heard that correctly.
Marvel Rivals has had tremendous, unanimous praise and success. And right now, you know what Sony is thinking?
Is it possible to learn this power?
Not from Concord. Everyone approached Marvel Rivals with a reasonable amount of skepticism, and I was one of those skeptics. Turned out, I couldn't have been happier to be wrong. Marvel Rivals was not what
I did hear about the game during its beta phase, and I know a lot of people enjoyed it, but there was a bunch of news before then that it was just going to be another shitty mobile game. Oh, how everybody was so wrong. Outside of the gameplay too, like the art style is just phenomenal. And not gonna lie, the character design is kind of peak. As a Psylocke main, I should know.
expected, because the developers NetEase don't have the best reputation when it comes to releasing games and then quickly abandoning those live service games. Rivals could have easily just been another in a long list of failed experiments, but in a strange bit of trickery, Marvel Rivals has become one of the rare breakout successes. Something interesting happened with the release of Marvel Rivals. Overwatch 2 hit its lowest player count on Steam since arriving on the platform in August 2023. Coincidence?
But as one trained in the Force, you know that true coincidences are rare.
Oh, KOTOR 2. Oh man, I miss that game so much. I don't know, maybe someday I gotta revisit it. I was doing a playthrough of it here on the channel, but my save file got corrupted and I didn't want to spend another 80 hours just to get back to where I was.
It seems this superhero hero shooter has sparked the sort of renaissance for the genre. But why? Is it just because it's familiar to Overwatch? Could it be the power of the Marvel brand itself? Why does it feel like the hero shooter genre has been born again?
Yes, indeed it has. Even people who had absolutely no interest in playing a hero shooter are playing this game. I think everybody has their own reasons behind it. The Marvel IP certainly does help with its familiar characters that people have grown up with, but just that nostalgia alone isn't going to be enough to sell copies. Or, well, in this case, the game is free, but, you know, monetize the game. The game itself just works so well. And it has such a fun gameplay loop. Even for casual players, there's gonna be those moments where you feel like you just carried the entire game. I honestly don't know how they do it.
Why is Marvel Rivals so awesome? Well, let's set up a mine trap, curb stomp that fucking shark, and open a portal straight into this.
Nice.
First impressions are everything, and this game wastes no time flexing.
Yes. First impressions are everything. And what was surprising with this game's initial release was that the servers actually worked. There wasn't any of that BS of release day and people couldn't even get into the game. The servers were overloaded and people were just not having fun because the game was broken. Everything worked.
What it's got. The sculpted soundtrack, buff animation, and the muscular comic book art style. Marvel Rivals has taken the world.
That's another big part of it, yes. I spoke about it earlier. The art style does play a big factor here. Well, all of these different things, they work off of each other and make such a good game. But I'm really glad that they chose to stick more with the comic book style while also adding some of their own redesigns to the characters. Depending on who you ask, there may be some redesigns that people don't really enjoy. I think Captain America is not looking too good, not gonna lie. But ultimately, Marvel Rivals is kind of its own thing. And I'm glad that the art style really sets it apart from other games.
By storm, even if she is bottom tier. And while I plan on giving this game a whole heap of praise,
she did get buffed.
there are some pretty serious issues that need to be figured out sooner rather than later. Fuck Hawkeye! What? When Overwatch released, it was new, fresh, and well worthy of being awarded Game of the Year. Marvel Rivals succeeds for many of the same reasons, and it's clearly taken inspiration. 6v6 PvP with 3 classes, tanks, DPS, and healers. You've got your standard modes of escort payload, capture the point, then escort payload. They got real creative there. But if we're going to call Marvel Rivals an Overwatch clone, then we need to call Overwatch a Team Fortress 2 clone. And so on and so on. To say
everything takes inspiration from something in the past. Ultimately, creativity isn't just creating something out of nothing, but mixing two things together.
Rivals is a cheap imitation, completely discounts all the ways it has innovated on a proven successful formula. And what really separates it from Overwatch are the team-ups. These are the bread and butter of Rivals. It adds a new level of—
Oh yeah, that is true. Like, I don't think Overwatch has team-ups. Also, dang. What a phrase to pause on. I think the team ups are fun though, because they can create a new synergy and new strategies. And you could like duo with some friends in order to make sure that you get particular team ups and sort of learn to play around that. Or if you're a bit more of a flexible player, you can assist somebody else's strategy. It's more than likely part of the reason why games don't feel stale despite having the same roster of characters, which honestly during release was kind of massive. And here in season 1, we're going to get 2 more now, being Johnny and the Thing. And even with the newly added Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic, it's already created different strategies because of how unique they are compared to the other heroes in their category.
Of strategy and synergy. To truly get the most out of this game, you gotta experiment with the roster. Because of this team up feature, I find myself playing heroes I probably wouldn't have without it. So you got anchor characters which provide benefits to other heroes, and the combo potential is insane.
Oh yeah, this.
The team-ups really do encourage you to try out different heroes and compositions because they offer such unique abilities. If Magneto and Scarlet Witch are on the same team, Magneto gets this utterly broken metal sword. Oh my god, check out this fucking great sword action right now.
Yeah, we're cutting him down forward. Yeah, we're cutting him down. Yeah, you see this shit?
Oh my. Hexa-kill, boys!
You have made your father proud, Wanda, my dear.
You have made your father proud, Wanda, my dear.
Is that the real Magneto? No fucking way. I'm such a big fan.
Behold, it is I, the real Magneto. These team-ups are clearly built around the philosophy of, we don't want to make this competitively balanced. We just think it's cool, it's fun, and it fits with the lore between the characters. And
that is such an important part of it, yes. I forgot to talk about it. The game certainly doesn't feel competitively balanced, and I think that's super important for the longevity of the game, because when you start focusing on just the high-level competitive scene, then you leave all the casual audience behind with a game that is just not very fun to play anymore. It all goes back to that argument between balance and fun. And I think Marvel Rivals is able to strike a really good balance between both of them. And this isn't to say that they're ignoring the competitive scene at all, because they literally have an in-game tab for tournaments and high-level play. You can just sign up in the game. You don't have to go to some separate website and send your credentials or whatever. And the replay system is freaking awesome. You can watch these games live from the game.
That's the right philosophy. There will be a time to balance and fine-tune all the bullshit later. What?
Yeah.
But for now, let's just enjoy Rivals and go with the flow. Between the closed beta in August and release, there were 10 new heroes added, and I could not tell you how excited I was to try each one of them out. I mean, Marvel Rivals could end up rivaling the hype of Smash Brothers announcements, as fans will have all this time to speculate which hero or villain will be added next, who they're going to be able to team up with. But I would love to see how they balance someone like Thanos, or add Drax. Where's the Green Goblin? Doc Ock? Doc Ock would be fucking sick. The movesets of each hero are considerably more complex than heroes in Overwatch, which can lead to some balancing issues, but it also leads to a new level of skill expression.
Wow, 4 in a row!
Wow, well goddamn! Pentakill? What the hell? It's a lot to take in at first, but if you have experience with like Dota, League of Legends, this will actually be a breath of fresh air. Because while League of Legends has many champions, and Dota 2 has many heroes, Marvel Rivals has 33. Because this is one of those games that if you don't know what each character does, you will be punished for your lack of knowledge. I think a major reason why Rivals is hitting so hard for people is it feels like the gaming community has recovered something that it lost. The game strikes a
lot of the old Overwatch players are coming to this game instead because they just feel more respected here. I just don't know what Blizzard is doing, man. They were sitting on a gold mine this entire time, and it was probably due to the lack of competition that they never did anything with the game and just slowly made it worse and worse, and then made promises that they couldn't keep for whatever reason. Whereas Marvel Rivals has so far been able to deliver on everything that they've set out to do. So yeah, it's like, no wonder.
Perfect balance in appealing to both casual and hardcore fans. Whether you're more into the movies or you've been deep into the comics, casual players will be familiar enough with obvious staples like Iron Man, Hulk, and... what? Spider-Man? Who put this nobody in here? What the fuck?
Yeah, that's another big thing about the roster too, being able to add the big names as well as some pretty obscure ones. Bring them into the limelight so they get to shine in this particular game. And we can have some really unique movesets, and it also just drives more attention towards those lesser known characters as well.
And hardcore fans will likely be a little too enthusiastic about the inclusion of Squirrel Girl. Thank God she has shoes on. I cannot imagine what I'd be seeing on the internet right now if she didn't. Another big deviation from Overwatch is that Marvel Rivals is played in third person and not first. This is great because it means I can goon mid-match to Venom's suspiciously toned hindquarters. But it is nice to be able to see the awesome skins you've unlocked or purchased like all the time instead of just when you emote or in the highlight intro or whatever. Of course, no game is ever perfect. And Rivals' biggest flaw is favoritism. There are 7 healers, 8 tanks, and a whopping 18 DPS heroes.
Yeah. I think the devs have said at some point that the Duelist will always be like the largest pool of characters. It makes sense. Duelist is the most popular role after all. But I genuinely hope that some of the characters that they're going to be adding in the future are going to be for vanguards and strategists in order to fill out some more play styles into there. Because as it stands, I do know some people who just don't want to play Vanguard because there's nobody there that interests them. Whether it's due to character design or just the gameplay that they have, it's just not very fun. I genuinely think, though, that filling out the rosters for Vanguard and Strategists would make it much less of an issue when you load into a ranked game and everybody insta-locks a DPS.
There's more duelists than both strategists and vanguards combined. So what ends up happening is...
You can't go in with 3 DPS, Dutch! Dutch, what are we doing, Dutch? You see your 4th teammate pick
the 4th DPS.
God.
No healers.
What are we doing,
What are we doing, Dutch?
Have you ever checked the scoreboard and it looks like this? You might want to look around your house and see if you're surrounded by fire and brimstone, because you might be in hell. I don't know what they were thinking making Wolverine a DPS character. This discrepancy between hero classes...
Actually, yeah, Wolverine could have been a Vanguard. There are actually quite a few characters that I think would work better as a Vanguard. Like, say they add Deadpool to the game. I think he should be a Vanguard. I know that just the way superheroes are designed, however, most of them usually fit into the DPS category. But we're already pulling from a lot of obscure heroes here and there, so I'm sure we can find some. Or change around the kit of popular ones to somehow make sense for their lore and still be able to perform their job in whatever category you put them in. That's not DPS.
Means you'll see certain healers and tanks way more often than some of the more niche DPS picks. A lot of folk that main strategist and healer right now are probably feeling disgruntled that they're constantly forced into this role because the rest of their teammates just want to get kills. Can you switch to tank? Nope.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Nope.
I don't care if we lose.
Makes sense,
Bro.
now you trash.
God. Every champion is a lot of fun to play. The only exceptions might be Storm and Black Widow, whose kits feel underdeveloped. But then you got characters like Moon Knight, who can put these onks down that do devastating damage to an enemy team. He doesn't even...
Moon Knight is really a big issue, especially if you're playing in lower elo and there's a lot less coordination. People are just deathballing. He cracks them wide open. And with the buffed ultimate right now, it's just a menace. It is so scary to stand on point. Granted, he is a sitting duck for any flanking DPS, but if you don't have one, or if they're not very good at the game, then yeah, you're probably just gonna die. Storm at the moment feels really good to play though. I know Actman wrote the script for this video before she got changed, so yeah, it makes sense. Before then, it was just the dedicated Storm mains who were absolutely killing it. As for Black Widow, personally, my theory is that the way that they designed her was to make sure that she'd never be as big of an issue for this game as Widowmaker is for Overwatch. Because from my understanding, Widowmaker in Overwatch is able to one-tap headshot anybody from any distance in the game. So, and it's also a hit scan character as well. Getting headshots in Marvel Rivals is pretty difficult because everybody has such fast movement and the hitboxes are pretty small. But having a hit scan character be able to do that would probably not be great for the game. I have seen people who were able to be quite effective with Black Widow, but I feel like it's one of those characters where you have to put in so much more effort than everybody else to get the same result. And then I say all of this, but Hawkeye kind of exists in the game. And he is a projectile character, but he can still kind of just spam out shots and eventually he'll get lucky. We did nerf him a little, and I have seen a lot less Hawkeye in ranked, but I don't know. It's still one of those characters where it's a feels bad moment when you die randomly because you were out of position.
You have to aim. Random bullshit, go! Penny Parker is one of my favorites, one of my mains, because you can set up all these mines and webs for cheese kills. Oh, nice try, Magic. Yeah, walk into the spider webs. And have you heard of the Winter Soldier? Well, 'tis the season. This guy's strong as fuck.
Yeah. Oh man. Again and again and again. I probably have permanent PTSD from Winter Soldier now, because we did run into a team of hackers who were just hacking their ultimates and just spamming it constantly. And they had a Winter Soldier on their team who was just annihilating everybody by spamming the ultimate over and over and over. Then he'd lose it, and then he'd gain it immediately because, you know, he was hacking. Granted, we did give them a run for their money, though. And honestly, I was really proud of that game, despite losing. But I did try him out a little bit yesterday, and honestly, I think he's just a really fun character. I like how he's designed and balanced, with a lot of carry potential, but, you know, if you mess up, then you're just gonna end up dead.
He can wipe the enemy team again and again.
Cursed parasite, rise up and I will kill you again and again, again and again, again and again, again and again.
While some abilities obviously have their Overwatch counterpart, most characters feel completely unique. Doctor Strange has a portal, man. We've seen portals.
The fact that the portal works, and it worked on day one, was kind of insane. Granted, it destroyed a lot of low NPCs, and I think the game's optimization could still use some work here. But it creates so many good plays that wouldn't be possible otherwise without a portal mechanic.
In single player and multiplayer with Portal and Splitgate, but never in a hero shooter. This one ability is such a game changer.
Yeah.
It can be comboed in entirely unique ways with every character on the roster. It's impressive how they even made this work. It's the coolest ability in the game.
Born again!
Arguably, Marvel Rivals' biggest strength comes down to its sex factor. I mean, X factor. No gooning allowed. We're talking about its style and presentation. Everything from the menus, the user interface, the costumes, outfits, skins, particle effects, idle animations. The artists did 10 out of 10 work.
Yes, 1,000,000% agree. Everything just looks and feels so good. A lot of people have probably mentioned this, but just when you're looking at the hero roster and then you hover over them and they pop out of the screen with whatever skin you have equipped on them, like, that's awesome. And a lot of the cosmetics are kind of peak. As somebody who's basically been free to play their entire life, this was one of those games where I finally brought out the wallet. It just looked way too good not to purchase.
They did not skimp out on the budget with these character designs, and thank God they didn't, because guess what? A hero shooter has to sell you on its heroes.
Yes.
So they do got some pretty...
weird concept, isn't it?
Oh my God, this is insane.
Yep.
Wow, that's actually nutty as fuck. Man, if only
The
they
skin
could
looks
AI
really
generate
good.
these types of animations and skins, wouldn't that be great?
We need more.
But beneath this comic book visual art style, there are some surprisingly detailed character models. Let's just say there are no secrets underneath. And boy, oh boy, they know what audience they were catering to. This is a direct attack on Overwatch's Gooner community. Isn't that crazy? Shifting focus back to...
Okay, look, you can say what you want to say about that side of things, but I do think it's important for the longevity of a game. The Gooning community was kinda just what was keeping Overwatch alive all these years. So if the devs are making the animator's job easier, then power to them.
The video game, the Marvel IP does a ton of heavy lifting, obviously providing legendary, storied, iconic characters that we've all known for decades and decades. You know what's really impressive, coming from the Halo community? I haven't seen a single fucking person complain about the art style. Not one.
Yeah.
Rivals definitely leans more into a comic book exaggerated,
Thank goodness that it
unrealistic
does.
art style, as opposed to realistic
Whatever the frick that was. When I saw the trailer for this game, I was like, no. I haven't heard anything about it ever since it released, so I'm assuming the game is dead.
normal body proportions, and I couldn't be happier. Seeing how wide Thor is, he's just a fucking unit. And in the goofy ass way that Captain America runs, like, perfect. The designs of the characters are familiar, but they're also not exactly direct ripoffs from any established Marvel media. They feel...
Oh, yeah, another important part is the fact that they're able to keep up this insane release schedule for characters. Because of the Marvel IP, you already have that lore behind the character. You don't have to create something entirely new. You simply just have to adapt it. This makes it so the game will easily be able to pump out content and keep things fresh, not having to wait 6, 9 months, a year for a season to end in order to get something new. Very important aspect for any live service game.
Feel unique. This comic book inspiration is seen everywhere. From just hovering over them in the menus, they pop out of their portrait.
Yeah.
A quite literal way of showing characters so real they leap off the page. That some of the skins contain unorthodox buffs.
I think it's funny. I don't know if you pointed this out in your video, but there's like actual skins that just like actually just buff like the butt sizes of characters.
Yeah.
Look between the Black Widow movie skin and her regular. Tell me that is not different.
The angles are hard. I'm gonna have to analyze this in post. What's also nice is that you can share highlights, watch the best moments from your fellow teammates.
The fact that there's like specific highlights for people too. That's really nice, but also creates for some funny moments. I forgot whose clip it was. I think it was from Tim the Tatman, but I recall seeing a clip of a Star-Lord that was really, really bad, and he went to check his highlight, and it turned out his highlight was him just being born in Spawn. Peaked from the moment he was born, and everything else after that was just downhill.
It's after a match, and what's this? You can save replays, watch them later, even record from different angles? By God! Ladies and gentlemen, a working theater mode.
I don't believe it!
But Marvel Rivals has taken a big gamble and done something I haven't seen in any other MOBA or hero shooter: destructible environments.
It makes it so that the strategies that you use for each map can differ depending on the environment. And it doesn't suffer from the faults of so many other games where the destructible environment kind of leaves the map feeling super barren near the end of the game, because they also come back after a while. I think the inclusion of the destructible environments was an amazing decision by the team. And it makes sense. A bunch of superheroes are fighting each other. Yeah, duh. Shit's gotta get blown up.
What? How unexpected.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
I mean, I fucking love a good Levolution in Battlefield, but a hero shooter? Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure, because when we're playing as the biggest and baddest heroes from the Marvel universe, like, well, haven't you seen the movies? Wherever they fight, the place gets fucked up, destroyed. And it just wouldn't feel right if Iron Man's ult didn't destroy every building in sight around you. You wouldn't feel like the Hulk if you couldn't break down walls with your bare hands. Pressing the B key on PC allows you to see everything that's destructible. And it's not just some cheap gimmick. You can reveal hidden pathways, shoot a hole through a wall to open up a secret sightline, or completely destroy structures that provide cover for the enemy. It's a really dynamic element of the game that keeps the moment-to-moment combat exciting, as you never know when something's gonna blow up and force you to react and respond to it. I think it's also cool that the environments rebuild themselves over a period of time. So once something's destroyed, it's not just like a flat, empty landscape. Knowing how map layouts change and are destroyed is part of the skill gap. Like in the Hydra base, where the center point switches between high ground and low ground. This game doesn't have a large amount of maps, but the ones it has are of the highest quality. No snowbound or derailed. What's even more...
I will say, though, that without the destructible environments, the maps would get pretty stale. There's not a whole lot of them yet. I know that they're adding more as we go along. But yes, knowing what can and can't be destroyed is a really big part of the skill gap, because it is actually game-changing at times. Being able to surprise your opponent from an unexpected angle, or honestly being able to escape to a health pack that you knew was nearby because you had studied the map before or just played it a bunch. All these things working together to make sure the game never gets boring.
More impressive is that you don't really have to take the map into consideration when you pick a hero, as they've all been made to accommodate each hero's kit and playstyle. Thor's ult, for example, is much better used in an environment with a high ceiling. Using it in claustrophobic environments just makes you an easy immobile target to burst down. Groot's thorn walls can give him a little bit of high ground, allowing him to jump over narrow gaps or sometimes even save himself from a
You could do this? What?
certain death. Pretty much every hero has some kind of movement ability, whether it's a glide, a dash, sprinting, skating, double jumps. And then there's Adam Warlock, who gets to fly for a brief moment when he dies. Now, I'm not surprised by this, but it is regrettable that despite the unlimited well of ideas they can pull inspiration from, the entire Marvel IP there is a startling lack of game mode variety. Right now, most players are focused on having fun or ranking up and mastering their favorite heroes, but casual players don't stick around long if there isn't casual fun to be had.
I think they recently added the Doom match or whatever it is. I haven't really tried out all the arcade stuff, but having those game modes for more casual players is super important. I've also heard some rumors about a PvE mode being developed, which I think would go super hard if it was done well. And it would also be a really big middle finger to a certain other game. So we'll have to see what they're able to cook up. Judging from the development cycle though, I do feel like they have their priorities right. Let's just hope that it doesn't get abused somehow.
The more casuals that leave, the sweatier and less fun the game becomes overall for the general audience. So it's important to include wacky fun modes like, oh my god, Jeff the Land Shark in Winter Wonderland.
It's the Splatoon thing.
Beautiful. Jarvis, don't twist his nutsack. Actually, I like Jeff the Shark now. They even reworked Jeff's abilities to work with this mode. Modes like this are a wacky distraction that can take you out of the more competitive, sweaty parts of the game. A big improvement from Overwatch is that I'm pretty sure when you're on offense, the payload will move forward if there's no enemies nearby, which means you're not locked into sitting on the payload in order to progress it. You can actually push forward and really take advantage of a good offensive. It means you
I think, it will move forward, but if you have more people on it, it moves faster. So it adds another layer of strategy where maybe you want to leave the cart in order to take space forward and then fall back whenever you might end up losing a battle or somebody pops an ultimate. It all really depends on the situation.
You don't have to take yourself out of the action to push the objective, and that's a huge improvement. Marvel Rivals also has a tournament mode. I mean, this game is built for spectating in esports. It has the potential. This is great because Marvel Rivals now offers the chance for anybody to compete. And who knows? The next XQC might be around the corner. All right, folks. Now let's get a little controversial, okay? There's a big question that needs answering. The world has been losing their mind over this. Does Marvel Rivals need role queue?
Oh god. Once again, I will sit there for Overwatch role queue, but personally, I don't think so. I think it would really kill the more creative team compositions. And we have seen so many varying compositions be able to succeed. It all amounts to strategy and how the players play around their characters. Granted, I don't think it's possible to go without any healers. That's pretty much the crux of it. Everything else goes, though. You just have to be good at your characters and know what your job is.
No, man. Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
This is the truth right here. The objectively correct subjective opinion. Role queue is anti-fun. Overwatch and League of Legends don't have a team-up feature where specific heroes are made to work together. So adding in a role queue would restrict team composition and player choice and agency so much. My god. We're actually doing it with this dumb.
Oh my god. Yeah, see? You got 2 healers, and you can go with anything else. I don't think taking away player agency is ever a good thing in any video game ever.
Shit fucking comp. Oh my god, we got it! Yo! You wouldn't be able to swap roles when one isn't working out. With role queue, you don't have that option.
Oh yeah, true, that's another point. Because there are certain heroes that are just better against others. So if you were locked into a role and you couldn't change mid-match, then you're just kind of screwed. Being able to adapt to the enemy team's strategy is such a big part of the game. And if they added role queue, it would completely remove that.
Counter picks aren't super prevalent in Marvel Rivals, but it is still part of the game. If you add role queue and you make every single fucking casual and competitive match consist of 2 duelists, 2 tanks, and 2 vanguards, I'm gonna lose my mind and my interest very quickly.
Yeah.
Lucky for us, ladies and gentlemen, pop the champagne bottles, it's a new year. The developers have confirmed that role queue in Marvel Rivals is not a priority at the moment. So let us take our victory lap because these guys are making all the right moves with this game, in my opinion. Let's just enjoy the casual, stupid fun with Rivals instead of immediately trying to pressure the devs to optimize the fun out of it. The whole point of the team-ups is to encourage teamwork and not be a one-trick pony. Your team hasn't picked the healer? Be the change you want to see in the world. Pick Adam Warlock, pull off some clutch heals, and watch your team praise the ever-loving shit out of you. Alright, I'll bring your dumbass back.
Immediately dives again. Oh, wait, no!
Oh, you were so fucking... Oh my god, I am...
Oh shit! That was super clutch.
hard carrying you right now.
Dude,
yeah, literally.
Okay.
I saved your ass twice. That's the third time I've saved your ass.
You're the support main. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you're supposed to thank my stupid ass. Casual play is one thing, but taking a game like Marvel Rivals to the competitive level, well, you start to see the cracks. Example A, this adorable little bastard.
Yeah.
Jeff's ult is the ultimate troll. You suck up everybody in a wide circle with a janky hitbox that for some reason spreads all the way up vertically. The issue is almost everyone is using this ultimate the same way, to suicide dive off the map and score cheap, easy team wipes. Jeff is a character whose ult is fun and cool. It offers unique gameplay opportunities, but he needs to be balanced more like Tom Kench. I like the impact Jeff's ult has.
You know, I can see that, actually. I think it's been a while since I played League, but Tom has to activate a specific passive over people in order to be able to use his ability to eat them up, whereas Jeff just kind of has to press Q. I don't think Jeff's ultimate is as problematic as people say, though. It's more of a just like, when a Scarlet Witch wipes you out, it's pretty instantaneous, whereas for Jeff, it's a very long ride down the side of a hill. Oh, hill? More like cliff. As long as you don't stay grouped up and you know for a fact that he's gonna try and go for an ultimate, yeah, just keep that in your minds, then you should be fine. If he gets like 1 or 2 people, it might be bad, but at least it mitigates the damage. What Jeff's ultimate is really good at, though, is when you have to stand on point during overtime. Then, yeah, you're kind of just forced into it and it's over. But even then, you know, a Hulk shield could save you. There's still plenty of ways that you could get around it. Despite saying all this, though, I still hate that ultimate.
But there has to be a drawback. Some incentive to use it more carefully or decide if you want to spit out teammates or not. Instead of everybody using it as a fucking kamikaze technique. Slowing Jeff's movement based on the number of heroes he eats would balance it out nicely.
I think that would be really good,
allowing him to shoot out heroes individually to speed himself up. You got a unique interaction there. Now let's be real, every ultimate in the game is powerful as shit. And while it feels nice to pop an ult and immediately start whooping some ass or rescue your team, the issue is that so many ultimates start before the voice line is finished. The audio cue that indicates you're about to be punched in the face by Iron Cock, or the enemy team is about to become immortal for 8 seconds. So defensively, you have very little time to react to something like Psylocke's ult, which...
Is this, a server-side issue? Or is this just a game design issue? That I can't really tell. There was a game I was playing where I was unable to block Strange's ultimate because he would say the line after the ultimate already popped for me. So it was kind of just over. I think audio is super important in these type of games because generally speaking, you can react faster to an audio cue than you can a visual one.
Does 150 damage per hit and hits twice per second. So if she solo ults you, you got about 1 second to live, kiddo. Ults like this can sometimes feel cheap and impossible to counter or survive. On the flip side, there's time to react to Iron Man and Scarlet Witch's ult, because they're very telegraphed. But again, for characters like Spider-Man, Winter Soldier, it's hard to react to, which can be frustrating when you're on the receiving end, but it's not so bad because respawn timers are pretty quick. Luna Snow's ult is probably the best in the support category, as it makes her and everyone on her team immortal if they stand in the circle. There's
arguably one of the most busted ultimates in the game, which granted can also still be countered, but most of the time it's just 12 seconds of doing nothing, and it becomes 24 seconds of you being able to do nothing if they have a Loki on their team.
also been an exploit discovered where you can rapidly toggle for healing and damage
yeah, they
boost to
patched
get
this
both
out.
at the same time. Fix that shit, please. No BXRs.
Yep.
This isn't Halo 2. We're no Smash Melee. None of that. Marvel Rivals should reward skill, not knowledge of exploits. On the official website, you can see the relevant stats for each hero, and it is eye-opening to say the least. Iron Man's ult does 1,000 damage. Jarvis, twist their nutsacks. Oh, and you can shoot it through a Doctor Strange portal to hit your opponents from an angle they'll never notice until it's too late. This game does encourage creativity and thinking outside the box. When two players link up in perfect synergy like this, it becomes nearly impossible for the opponents to avoid death. Kills feel rewarding, and dying not so punishing. This game already has a Punisher of its own.
Oh my.
Kill me.
And how about our boy Hawkeye? Isn't it ironic that the one guy who technically doesn't have superpowers is the most overpowered?
Right.
Look at the health bar.
Look at the health bar.
Health bar's important. Yeah.
Look at this.
3 times
You
it
go
moves.
3 headshots, you go good.
No, look.
Okay.
One
headshot.
First headshot is 302 damage, okay? Second hit is not a headshot.
Not a headshot, yeah.
306 damage. Yeah.
Yeah, you
3
go coach.
shots.
I'm pretty sure
He's
the whole
got
guy
the next
go to-
arrow
go to his-
cooked.
go to-
Look at
go to
him.
his POV.
Look at him.
Go to his POV.
He's got
Go to his
the
POV.
Easy, dude.
What?
He cooked you.
What?
He just cooked you. You could have bubbled.
What do you mean he cooked me? This is bullshit. Look at
dead.
Look at how broken this
No,
shit
he
is.
cooked you.
You fucking idiots are talking shit about my play. That happened in 2.5 seconds. What was I supposed to do?
Bubble.
What the fuck was I supposed to do? At a competitive level, a really good Hawkeye will demolish you and the fairness of a match. He's frustrating for the same reasons Hanzo used to be frustrating. But the big difference is Hanzo used to not have escape options or get off me moves. Hawkeye gets both, and his headshots can deal a maximum of 384 damage. Enough to one-shot 75% of the heroes and leave all tanks dead or within 100 HP of death after 2 shots. Hawkeye, when he's in the right hands, is simply not fun to play against. It reminds me of the Black Cleaver meta with Riven. This motherfucker can 3-shot Hulk. Despite a lot of imbalanced imperfections, Marvel Rivals has had one of the best launches in recent memory.
Yeah, for sure. What I will say about that, though, is I wish they would add bans, character bans, in lower elos. Maybe starting at gold or platinum. I think it would make the game a lot healthier if you could ban something that is kind of being abused at the moment. I'm still not very good at the game, so currently I'm only gold. Last season I was able to reach plat, but still grinding. But I long for the day where I reach diamond and I can just ban Hawkeye hella. I think the nerfs to Hela were actually pretty good though. She doesn't seem as oppressive and still pretty fair. Hawkeye though, not too sure.
For a multiplayer live service. And these small hiccups aren't enough to significantly derail its momentum. But they are things that will probably need to be fixed in the future. And who knows, maybe I'm just talking shit and the fanbase simply needs time to adjust to each character's kit and learn how to counter it. But Marvel Rivals is not just pretty to look at. I would say the sound design rivals the art direction. Every map has its own thematic suite of tracks, with music for the loading screen, hero selection, countdown, end of match. The total length of the soundtrack is short, but by the beard of Zeus is it sweet. Now, we're all familiar with the actors who play our favorite heroes up on the big screen, but take a look at how stacked this game is with voice actor talent. Troy Baker, Yuri Lowenthal, Brian Bloom, who I immediately recognized as the voice of Varric from Dragon Age, Steve Bloom. Berserker! Rage! Dude, fucking Tank Dempsey is in this. Nolan North as Rocket Raccoon. You guys realize NetEase has assembled an all-star cast for this game, including 3 of the 4 legendary OG COD Zombies cast. Not to mention Nika Futterman as Hela, aka Ventress from the Clone Wars. These highly talented, experienced voice actors bring an immense presence to the game in each hero. Many of them have voiced these characters before, and given how fantastic they are at their jobs, I can't wait for them to all be replaced by AI. Imagine replacing your voice cast like that. Not for 1 second have I ever felt like, that doesn't really sound or look like Rocket Raccoon. Immersing myself as each hero I play is automatic, and the ultimate voice lines go way harder than they need to.
Yes, yes. They put so much energy into the voice lines that it just sticks in your mind. That's why there's so many memes around. I don't think any of these memes would exist if it wasn't so iconic and made such a lasting impact on the entire player base. I think Serby was even commenting that like a few days after we had initially started playing, they couldn't get it out of their head of Scarlet Witch's ultimate cry, just pure chaos, just over and over repeating like that. For me, it's Winter Soldier saying again over and over. Nice. Dangerous.
No, not that one. Jesus Christ.
That one's a little half-baked. And honestly, I think Penny's ultimate kind of needs a rework or buff or really anything. Yeah.
3 days after he was crucified.
Born again!
The bottom line, the heroes in Marvel Rivals are perfect in terms of design, aesthetic, and voiceover. How they work gameplay-wise is a bit of a different story, but it's easy to feel a sense of pride in the character you choose to main.
Yeah.
Now let's talk monetization, because this is where free-to-play games tend to fuck up the most.
Usually.
After the closed beta back in July and August, the #1 request in the surveys from fans was to unlock all heroes for everyone at release.
Yes, and they delivered. All the heroes were free. Thank goodness. Oh, it would be so dumb if you locked a hero behind a battle pass.
That's what they did? Exactly that. Now that's what I call a big win. You see, Marvel Rivals is a game that should be free because it has the perfect formula for monetization that doesn't fuck with the game at all, and it can support future updates. All these heroes have decades and decades of costumes, outfits, and comics to pull inspiration from. There is seriously no end. How old is Marvel? 86 years. I'm sorry, you've got 86 years of material to sell. For most games, selling individual skins for $15 to $20 would be, well, it's a hard sell. But given the quality of the game and that it's free, I think it's the perfect business model for fans and the developers to just say, hey, if this is your favorite hero, you can buy a cool skin for him. 15.
Dude, like the price, some people may say is pretty high, but I think the quality of the cosmetics are actually worth the price. Like some of these skins look so amazing.
$20. Born again! Yeah, I bought it, okay? What up? Shut up. I've never even seen Adam Warlock in a movie. Shut up! Speaking of, the Battle Pass is only $5. I don't know if Battle Passes have ever been that cheap. There are only 4 pages of rewards, but some of the rewards in here are pretty fucking incredible.
Yeah, $5 for the Season 0. I think moving forward it's going to be 10, but makes sense. It's like twice the length of Season 0. And you get 10 free skins from it. I think all the skins for the Battle Pass this time in Season 1 look really good too. Maybe except for Penny, but that was basically just an Ava reference.
You know what? Given how egregious Overwatch was with its monetization, where it was loot boxes, fucking duplicate rewards, and then with Overwatch 2, the absurd grind, how Blizzard locked new heroes behind a paywall, I'll take this. I'll take this any day of the week over the alternative. The monetization also doesn't ruin the progression at all, which isn't anything crazy, but it's enough to give you reason to keep playing. And let's not forget the potential for selling announcer voice packs, okay? Let me tell you what I'd spend money on: the privilege of hearing J. Jonah Jameson narrate my matches.
Yo, that would go so hard, actually. When I was playing the Spider-Man Insomniac games, those were some of my favorite moments when you're just swinging through the city and you're listening to the podcast.
If you bring J.K. Simmons in, sell that voice pack for $10-15, you're printing money, man. At the end of the day, Marvel Rivals is way better than it has any reason to be, because it embraces low-stakes casual fun over trying to be the next esports juggernaut. They wanted to make the heroes fun to play more than they wanted to sell you skins for them. The hero designs are absolute peak, team-ups are an amazing innovation on the hero shooter genre, and I'm just excited to see what the future of this game holds. NetEase have surprisingly, against the odds, made all the right moves so far with Marvel Rivals, but the future is always uncertain. Lest we get consumed by hype we must remember that modern gaming can attack at any time. There's always growing pains when a casual game becomes more competitive, but part of me is excited 2 years from now to be like, hey, you guys remember when Hawkeye was fucking broken? You know? I'm excited for the culture of Marvel Rivals.
Imagine if 2 years from now Hawkeye is still broken. We didn't do anything about it.
It's addicting as all hell, and I'll be marveling at the Rivals for a long time. This game strikes the perfect balance between pleasing the casual and hardcore fans.
Yes.
And that is why Marvel Rivals is so awesome. But what do you think? Are you a Hawkeye or Hela main? If so, get the fuck out. JK, wish you the best luck in ranking up. What are your thoughts on Marvel Rivals? What are your biggest critiques and your biggest point of praise? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. Alright everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Thanos Man, snapping out. Peace!
Alright, dudes. Eggman brought up a lot of really good points here, and another one I'd like to add is the fact that you can complete missions in bot matches too, which really enhances that more casual experience so that you don't have to be pressured into playing in PvP if you don't want to. And the missions too, they're not some obscure thing that ruins the gameplay, unlike how Halo Infinite was. So yeah, they're just doing a lot of really good things here, and hopefully they stay on this trajectory. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.